When it comes to immigration, there are as many stories as there are immigrants that come to the U.S. every year. Whether legally sanctioned or not, the people who come from all corners of the world for freedom, for opportunity, for better lives for their families, make us all a better country. Unless you are a Native American, you're either an immigrant yourself or derived from immigrants. In order to have any kind of informed opinion or enlightened view on who can come here, who can stay, and what it means to be an American, you must know the stories of these immigrants. And in our own small way, that's what we'll try to do now. Rene has been living the immigrant experience for 20 years, and he has agreed to talk to us now. Thank you for doing this, Rene.
Oh, thank you, John, for having me here. So, shoot any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay. We'll start off with, could you tell us where you're from?
Yes, I'm from Mexico City. I was born and bred in Mexico City.
Can you describe the neighborhood you grew up in?
Yeah, well, it was, a working class neighborhood, but I spent most of my life, my entire life, until I came here.
Great. What family and friends did you leave behind?
Well, my entire family, all my friends, stay behind. Everybody.
When did you come to the United States and why?
I came here on the fall of 1998, and the reason is I came here because I fell in love with a woman who lives in this country, my wife today.
Can you tell us a little about your wife, Laura?
Well, she was living she's an American woman living in Mexico for a year, and we met in Mexico, and we never thought that we would come this far, that have a relationship, that I would move to this country.
And together with her, you adopted 2 children. Could you tell us about your children?
Well, they are now wonderful children. One is 12, one is 8, and we got them when they were infants, both of them, and we love them. What can I say?
What can you say? Could you tell me what you left in Mexico with as far as an education, your jobs, your social life?
At the time Laura and I met in Mexico in 1998, I was a practicing attorney, I was a librarian, that was my job, and then I became an attorney, so I did law, I practiced law for, 5-6 years, and then I had lots of friends in the university I attended, which, by the way, happened to be also my employment place. So I was a student, and I was a worker there for 15 years as a worker. As a student, I was a student for 7 years. The time it took to get my degree as an attorney. So I had can't complain. I had a very good life.
And you had a full and rich experience in there. I've heard that you won a national poetry contest there. Could you tell me a little about that?
Oh, well, I like poetry, and I wrote poetry. Honestly, I never thought that it would go that far, But it was a great satisfaction and made me very happy.
Great. What was it like when you first got here? Was it difficult or exciting, or a little bit of both?
Well, it was. Getting here wasn't difficult. I just, I took a plane, and what was exciting was leaving behind everything, like coming to an end with everything, my job, my friends, my family. The very decision of coming here, that was just, leave everything behind and put an end to one stage in my life. And getting here was very exciting. Well, I never thought that learning a second language would have been so difficult, but it is.
So your experience of learning English, was that a gradual thing? Harder than you thought?
Yeah, it was. I came here because I fell in love with this woman, and at the time, I mean, it was all excitement. I couldn't think of anything hard or difficult. It was all excitement, really, truly.
You mentioned how special it was to be here, and you mentioned twice before that you'll never forget the first words that Laura said to you when you finally got back to her apartment. Could you tell us what they were?
Oh, yeah, well, what she said, she opened the door and she said, look, everything you look at in this apartment, anything is yours. And she said, don't hesitate. At that time my English was bad, and she decided to speak in English to me that very night when she picked me up. She said, no more Spanish because you're not gonna learn. But I remember those words. Everything that you look at here is yours, and this is your home. Something like that was the best thing she gave me that night, and it stays with me up to this day. I mean, she just really welcomed. I mean, she was in love with me. I know all that, but that was very reassuring.
It's moving.
Thank you.
Did you struggle to find work here at first?
Well, I guess I was a little impatient at the beginning. I wanted to find a job, but my English was very, very weak. So my brother-in-law got me a job in a sandwich shop, and with this really grumpy and disrespectful man. And he was yelling all. I mean, he used to yell at the people there which were they were all immigrants, Mexican, Salvadorians, and I could never manage to wrap the darn sandwich. Always the sandwich, the things came out. And I said, no, this is not for me. But Laura had the idea that I should teach Spanish, and she set it up for me, the system. She called the clients, and I just showed up and I teach them Spanish, and that was great. That was really nice. And also, I clean apartments, and that also was very good. I was still young. I'm not old, but I was much younger, and it was easy to clean apartments and ride my bike and teach Spanish. So it was really exciting. I was making like a 600 a week,
I guess it wouldn't be an immigration story without there being hard work and bad bosses.
Right, that's right, John. Yeah, that's right.
What did you expect to find difficult that you adapted to with ease here? What came naturally?
At the time, because of this excitement and being here with my wife, and we were planning. I mean, we had so many plans to maybe live in New York, but maybe buy property in other place. It was all the excitement about. Also, we planned to get married. So it was too much excitement. I really never thought of anything would be difficult for me. That came later when I found the language and hard to express myself, and then when I became a parent, those were the challenges.
What do you miss most about Mexico City, and what do you miss the least?
Well, I guess what I miss is that time I spent at the university with my friends, because I had very good friends, very close. In the university and in the job I had at the university, that was a spectacular part of my life. The whole decade of the 90s was beautiful, and it got crowned when I met Laura. By the end of the 90s, that was just like the best. That was the happiest time of my life.
Very good decade.
What I don't miss at all is the Mexican politicians and all the nonsense and the corruption and the same ruling class, just despicable people. Sorry.
What advice would you give to your younger self, knowing what you know now?
I mean, what I did was just an act inspired by love. I mean, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I was clear about what I wanted to do, and I came here and I started a new life with my wife, and that was almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Sums it up. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to this interview.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you for asking. That really makes me feel very, I don't know, having expressed my thoughts here with you. It's very important to me. I don't know why, but I thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.